There is a lot of forms in Dragon Ball Super. Some are good and some are bad, and some are just downright terrible. But today, we are going to be covering what I think is the worst form in Dragon Ball Super, which is Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. Now, like I said before, in my opinion, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved is the worst form in Dragon Ball Super, and in this video, I'm going to explain why I think it is the worst form in Dragon Ball Super. Now with that out of the way, let's cover why I think it is the worst form in Dragon Ball Super. Now, the reason why I think it is the worst form in Dragon Ball Super is because there was really no reason for it to exist, to be honest. The only reason why it existed in the first place was just to give Vegeta a power-up to keep up with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku. Since Goku had Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, it was always stronger than Vegeta because of that 10 times power boost, and we couldn't just forget about that. They tried to fix it by not letting Goku use Blue Kaioken in the Goku Black arc, but nobody forgot about that, and they ended up making Goku use it in the arc against Fusamazu anyways. So how could we fix this? And that is what I'm going to be covering today in this little discussion video. I'm not saying at all that I'm a better writer than the writers of Dragon Ball Super. I'm just covering what I think could have been better for the arc. If I was a story writer, there's going to be two sides of this video, with one being not including the form at all, and another one including the form but introducing it a little earlier. But let's start with not including the form at all. And I think this form just shouldn't have been introduced. I think what we could have had, is Beerus training with Vegeta after the Goku Black arc. And this would kind of be Vegeta and Beerus' training from in the Granola arc, but happening earlier. And this would lead into Vegeta unlocking the Ultra Ego form. And this would be first brought out in his battle against Toppo. Vegeta would have teamed up with Goku against Jiren, and he would have switched opponents battling Toppo just like in canon. But we could have had Toppo defeating Vegeta, and before Toppo launched that big blast at Vegeta, Vegeta could have, instead of powering up just a little bit more, we could have had Vegeta transforming into Ultra Ego, having the same form that Toppo kind of had, and defeating him with that same form. But instead of using a weak final explosion, we could have had a Hakai versus Hakai collision, with Vegeta's winning and eliminating Toppo. Then we could have had Vegeta battling against Jiren, and Vegeta could have put up a better fight, but when Jiren used full power, he would have eliminated Vegeta, and Vegeta could have sent his power to Goku, and because Goku would have probably had more time to recover some of his strength, he would have a little bit more strength than in canon. Then he would have been able to use Ultra Instinct Domin and soon mastered it, and eliminated Jiren. And also with this change, in the Moro arc, we could have probably had Vegeta going all the way into Super Saiyan Blue to battle Moro, but he wouldn't have had a chance to use Ultra Ego on Namek. So Vegeta would do his Jar Drat training, and after Goku got defeated by Moro in his Ultra Instinct Domin form, Vegeta could have showed up and used Ultra Ego, and instead of Moro absorbing 7-3, Vegeta could have Hakai'd Moro, and we could have had 7-3 and all of the Galactic Patrol prisoners being locked back up. And then when the Granola arc happened, Granola could have broken through the Galactic prison, then take 7-3 out of the prison, and give 7-3 to the Heaters. Then Goku and Vegeta could have been brought to Granola, and the fighting could have stayed the same, except Vegeta wouldn't have had that cool moment to transform into Ultra Ego. Because Vegeta would have already had the form, he would just power up further than Blue in a non-special panel. But of course, Granola could have still defeated Vegeta, and the rest of the arc could have stayed the same. And because at this moment in time, the new Dragon Ball Super manga chapter haven't been released, we cannot go any further, but I think this would have been better for Vegeta to not have Blue Evolution at all. But now we could cover the second story, which is Vegeta still having the form, but introducing it earlier. Now, a way for Vegeta to keep Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, but introduce it earlier in the story, is I think we could have Vegeta going in a time chamber like in canon, but instead of just getting insanely stronger, he unlocks a new form, which would obviously be Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. Or we could have Vegeta unlocking this form before the arc, but I think the latter would be more better to do. with Vegeta getting the form in the time chamber. And after Vegeta gets this form in the time chamber, he goes back in time with Goku and Trunks to battle Zamasu and Goku Black. And I think Vegeta would beat down Goku Black even more, because he would have Super Saiyan Blue evolved, and he wouldn't be beaten as quickly as he did before. I think probably this form could have forced Goku Black and Zamasu to fuse into Fuse Zamasu. But because we saw how powerful Goku was when facing off against Fuse Zamasu, after using Kaioken times 10, being able to kick Zamasu and severely damage him, I think Blue Evolved would be a good match for Fuse Zamasu. But he probably wouldn't be able to defeat Zamasu, so probably Blue Vegeta would have been needed. And then Trunks could still finish off Zamasu until the Zeno button is used. Yeah, I don't like the Zeno button either, but this is not rewriting the arc. This is covering how Super Saiyan Blue Evolved could have been introduced earlier. Now we'll go into the Tournament of Power, and of course, as you could expect, with Vegeta having Blue Evolved, we won't have that scene with Vegeta transforming into Blue Evolved, because he would have just transformed like Goku did in that scene. So then they would battle Jiren just like in canon, and yeah, Vegeta would still defeat Toppo, but I think since Vegeta would have been stronger, Vegeta wouldn't have used that weak final explosion, and instead he would have just defeated Toppo with a regular final flash. Then Vegeta would have battled Jiren alongside everybody else, and like everybody else would be destroyed, until after 17's sacrifice, Vegeta would have still had enough energy to go Blue Evolved for only a while before getting eliminated by Jiren and giving Goku some of his power. And like canon, Goku would have used Ultra Instinct Domin and soon mastered Ultra Instinct. Then he would have defeated Jiren, but like in canon, lost to Jiren. So with the help of Frieza and 17, would have been able to eliminate Jiren. And then the Moro arc would obviously go the same, with Vegeta not having no new transformation. And same for the Granola arc, with Vegeta unlocking Ultra Ego. And since I'm recording this on like December 2nd, the arc hasn't been released yet, so we can't cover it anymore. So that is where this discussion video ends. So this is what I think could have been better for the story if Blue Evolved either wasn't introduced and Ultra Ego was instead, or Blue Evolved was introduced earlier. But let me know in the comments what you think could have been better for this form, if you think that it needed to be improved, either the way it was introduced or not being introduced at all. But with that said, I'll see everyone in the next video. See ya, and until we meet again.